Hello, ZPA community. I'm so excited for our Monday night webcast. I know we missed last Monday because it was Halloween. Hopefully people didn't eat too much candy. But we just did our Facebook Live on Living ZPA, and we do that every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And then this is our Share It and Build It webcast. And this is what I think this is going to be great. Renita and I talked about it. This theme tonight is kind of like the nuggets of information we're going to be sharing every single week. And the coaching and training is built upon this platform, that each week we share particular nuggets of info that will have action items for you to then implement and then apply as you're sharing and building ZPA, so that you become awesome at just your authenticity, your passion, and the difference that you're making. But before I dive into the topic tonight, I want to welcome the health guru, one of my dearest friends in North Dakota, Renita Rowe-Brandon. How are you doing there, Renita?
I'm awesome. I'm happy to be here, you guys. It's Monday. Monday fun day. I love Mondays because we're back to the grind of getting people healthy and getting them on plan, and I love Mondays.
So, and Renita, what camera are you looking at?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at You're so funny, Mark McDonald.
So Renita and I always joke, everyone, this is our inside joke, because it's hard on webcasts, because a lot of times you look at like the person you're talking to, but you actually have to look at the camera because that's what you're seeing. So if you ever see Renita looking at the camera, type in, Renita, look at the camera.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny. You're really funny, Mark.
Okay, so everyone, tonight I wanted you to, when Renita and I talked about this, I want you to get out a piece of paper and look, about 20 minutes of coaching. And then as always, this playlist, once it's recorded, ask all questions. Renita and I will be answering them. And then we're working, just talking to Bonnie, who's managing tonight. Bonnie, our Facebook compliance guru, social media specialist. Bonnie told us that we're working on the business building Facebook community that would be a closed group. We just have to make sure that we honor compliance from that. But tonight is about mastering your communication. And there's going to be three main parts to that. And I want everyone to think about selling. You know, the word sales a lot of times gives you like the heebie-jeebies, but I want you to think about, you know, we sell our kids. I sell Hunter all the time on why he should eat PFC every 3, on why he should brush his teeth. We sell our friends on movies that we love. Like Braveheart is one of my favorite movies of all time. I will sell people on why they should watch that movie nonstop. Renita, what are some things you sell people on? Just natural stuff.
Just natural stuff. Again, with my kids, it's constant, Mark. We're always trying to sell our kids on the healthy lifestyle, why we do what we do, why we eat the PFC, why we want to nourish our body. So I feel like that's just a given for me. But honestly, when you say that, there's so many things that I'm passionate and that I love that are dealing with the health realm that I'm constantly telling people, oh my gosh, you got to try this. Oh, you got to come to my free exercise class at the Element. It's so much fun. We have people from 20 years old to 80 years old just rocking the exercise class. We're constantly selling things. Really, I feel like it's not even selling. It's really sharing something that we really believe in passionately. And just to top that up, teachers sell ideas to our children every single day in school. So as much as people say, I don't want to sell, think of a teacher. I would guess that most teachers don't think of themselves as salespeople, but they make excellent network marketers to share the Zen plan because they naturally stand in front of people. They like to teach them. And ultimately, they're trying to share an idea and get somebody to buy into that idea. Right, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, that's what tonight's all about, because we talk about communication. And when we look at how people want to deliver something, there's gaps that you're making. And there's little gaps in your level of communication that most people make when they're trying to show someone why they should do something. So there's 3 parts. The first part, and the way we're going to do this is I'm going to share the parts. I'll give some ideas. Renita's then going to give her spin on it. So you're seeing 2 different perspectives. And then we're going to wrap up this webcast with some live role play. So you'll like that. But the first part is this. I want everyone to redefine your relationship with the word sales. So sales, and it's different for each person. The way I look at sales is I look at it as serving. So I don't ever feel like I'm selling something. I know that I'm serving someone from the point of showing people a better way. So when it comes to nutrition, I clearly know in my heart that if you're eating PFC every 3 and you're balancing your blood sugar, you're going to have better energy, you're going to burn fat, you're going to build muscle. So I will do everything I can to help people see that. So when I engage people, when I show people that path, I've redefined my relationship. I never feel like I'm selling something. I feel like I'm serving people to show them a better way in anything that I do. I never use the word sales, but sales is just really having someone understand an idea that you want to share. So to me, I redefine the word as serving. Renita, how do you redefine? I like how you said sharing, so I probably already spoiled it, but how do you redefine it?
Really, it is sharing a message, and it's really like you said. I mean, you're serving. I feel like honestly, if I don't share ZP8 or the PFC every 3 with somebody, I feel like I've actually failed them or I've let them down, especially when they need what we have. I often look around and think these people need to feel energized. I mean, today I was at Verizon for 3 hours. And I mean, I should just sit there and sign people up for ZP8 and PFC every 3, because obesity is an epidemic in our country. It's everywhere we look. And I'm just talking to the guy back and forth that's helping me, that's in customer service with me, that's trying to sell me a cell phone. And I start talking about PFC every 3 and permanent weight loss and how to turn your body into a fat burning machine. He's like, I need to do this plan. It's like, tell me more. It's like when you are passionate, you get excited and you come at somebody with a solution. That's what I've always felt, is I'm a solution to somebody's problem. And when you come with solutions, people are literally praying for the knowledge that you have about the Zen Project 8 and the PFC and the community and all of it. They're literally praying for something like this to deliver them from the dieting madness that they've been maybe on that roller coaster for 20, 30 years. So I feel like I'm sharing a message. I'm blessing their lives if I tell them. I actually feel guilty if I don't share it with somebody that I know absolutely needs it, Mark.
Yeah, you know, I think, and that's everyone's first assignment. So the first part is redefining your word of what you actually think sales means. So for me, it's serving. For Renita, it's blessing, sharing. So it's all about you defining it. So that's really the number one thing you focus on, your first action item, redefining it so that you're at peace with it. And you have to start, like you have to go through the process. But once you feel like, okay, I'm clean with that, now you have it. Now the second part is this. When you get clean with the word and you're not attached to, I feel like I'm selling something. Now it's strictly not about the knowledge you have. I mean, Renita, how many times do we see people feel like they don't have enough knowledge? Like, I need to know more to do this. And the reality is that in all my life, I've seen that there's 3 things you need. You need passion, authenticity, and belief. You need a belief in what you're saying. And it's not about the knowledge. What about you, Renita? What have you seen those things?
Absolutely. I think passion. I mean, I even think about Leota, how every week I have a weekly party and she's bringing people to those parties. Why? Not because she's excellent at sales. Well, she gets out there and she just shares the belief. The woman is down 100 pounds. Like, she's got some belief, right? And the bottom line is she just, everyone she comes across, they can sense that belief she has. And they're like, I want to do what you're doing. So passion, belief, and she's passionate about it, because I tell you what, guess what? You might have been a little asleep at the wheel, but when you lose 100 pounds, you come to life, right? She literally has the passion. She has the belief. And you know what? Your story is powerful. We've talked about that before in here, Mark, but your story that you're sharing, I've always said, you know, I always think about my story and I think, how can this relate to somebody else's life? So don't just sit and, I mean, our stories are powerful, but everybody's kind of sitting in the What's in It for Me club. There's a great book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm sure you've read the book, Mark, right? How to Win. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. He says, everybody's in the What's in It for Me club. So when you're sharing your story, bring that person that you're talking to actually into that story with you. Don't just make it only about you. Say, well, you know what? I did it. You certainly can do it too. Let me show you how. And when you start including them in that, they're like, yes, because everybody wants to know what's in it for them.
Yeah. So I would say that every point is so spot on, Renita. And I'd say that everyone watching, this are the 2 things that I've seen gaps of people making, the mistakes people are making. Number one, they feel like they're trying to sell a product or they're selling something to someone. Huge mistake. So if that's you, you have to redefine what that means and clean that up right now. Number 2, you think that you need to share knowledge with people. So you think the science and all of this wisdom is going to inspire people. Well, they tune you out in 5 seconds. It's your passion, your authenticity, and the belief, because you're living it, what inspires people. So part of mastering your communication through the sales process is understanding that you got to get all the mumbo jumbo out, and you just have to get super clean and keep it simple from the point of what does the word mean to you? That's your first action item. And the second one is, are you passionate? And practice, how are you passionate? Like, does it really, like when you hear Renita talk, you just know there's passion. Are you authentic? If you're not living it, you can't share it or build it. Forget about it, because this is a community-based movement that's all based on customers. And then the third piece is that you must believe in what we're teaching. You have to believe in PFC every 3. If you don't do that, then you can't actually engage people to act.
Right. You know, Mark, something that this is so spot on. At my parties, I oftentimes tell people, because they might come into the room and they believe Leota and they believe the other people that are there that have had results, and they just don't know if they believe themselves. And I always tell people, when you get around belief long enough and you get on the plan, you will begin to believe in yourself. But at first, it's almost like you're trusting, like you said, believing and trusting what it is that we're telling them is true. And here's the results to prove it. And when you get around that long enough and you start living that plan, you eventually develop that belief yourself. I don't feel like people initially out of the gates believe. I feel like that's a growth process that they do. The more empowered they become, the healthier the choices they make, the weight that they lose, the inches that they lose, the better they feel, their belief level goes up, right?
100%. And that's why you can't, until you master step 1 and step 2, redefining your word, and then really understanding it's not about knowledge, it's about your passion, authenticity, and belief. You can't actually go through the 4 steps of sales. So that's part 3. And that's where you're going to have some fun here. Because I have an example, Renita has an example, and we have 4 parts to it, and we're going to kind of share. We're going to, I'll share an analogy of how I intro and each part of it, and then we'll do some role playing. So you ready for this, Renita? So the first part is this. Your number 1 step in the sales process is your introduction, meaning, and this is what you need to ask yourself, why should this person listen to me? That's the most important thing. Why should they listen? So an example I'm going to give is, I was just at a soccer field yesterday, and there was a dad that is struggling with their health. And they came up to me and they said, you know, and he saw me, I was making a shake, and I was drinking my shake at the field. I just took a red eye from LA, and he said, man, why are you're doing a shake? I mean, that's a lot of discipline. I go, you know, I want to feel great. And then immediately he said, you know, I want to feel great. What are you doing? I said, I'm glad you asked. You know, what it's simple. I eat PFC every 3, eating balanced protein, fat, carbohydrates, gives me great energy, allows me to manage my weight, helps me burn fat. I mean, what's your goal? And immediately he said, that's what I want. So my intro was so simple because it was authentic, it was passionate, and immediately, because in 15 seconds, he wanted to listen to me. Renita, give me your example.
Oh my gosh, I could give you example after example. The cell phone was an example today, just because I was full of energy, and I'm like, I got to get my phone in working order. I have people asking me questions about Zen Project 8. He's like, and I'm like, these people want answers because they're literally melting before my eyes, knowing that the guy that I'm talking to is probably 100 pounds overweight, right? And he's like, well, what is it that you do? And it's so natural for me when I'm interacting with people. But the biggest thing I can tell you guys that are watching, the grocery store is a great place to find these people. I always have a cart full of amazing things, beautiful color, lean proteins, and it never fails. It never fails. I'm in the grocery store, pushing the cart, and run into people in the health food section, or sometimes even at the cash register, and they're like, wow, you have so much healthy food in your cart. I wish I knew how to shop like health. And I'm like, you can. I'm like, I do a grocery shopping adventure, and there's this great program that teaches you how to eat right for the rest of your life. They're like, oh my gosh, I got to get on board. How do I get started with this thing? So I feel like for me, it's, if you're really living the plan, you'll be living with energy, vitality. You'll be authentic because you literally are living the plan. People will be attracted. People are attracted to energy, Mark. They're attracted to energy, and they're attracted to truth. That's what I found.
100%.
Yeah.
And what's great about the analogy you just said with grocery shopping is that you share that sell, you share, and you, because of your authenticity, because you're living it, people naturally come up to you, which then allows the natural sales cycles to happen. So you have an intro. How will it help them? That's the inspiration. The second step is content. You know, like when we look at content, how is this content actually going to help them get the results that they want? And that's the most important thing. When I was talking to soccer field with the dad, once he got engaged, and just from me seeing the shake as my intro, I shared some stuff, he shared some stuff. And then he said, you know, is this something you think I can do? And I said, yeah, because do you eat? He's all, yes. I go, so you're already eating consistently. We just got to educate you on how to get some protein, fat, carbohydrates every 3 hours. What did you have for breakfast today? He said, I had a bowl of oatmeal. I go, that's great. All we have to do is add some egg whites. Do you like egg whites? Yeah. Do you like nuts? Yeah. If you have egg whites, nuts, and oatmeal, you got a balanced meal, and you're going to be better. So immediately we make a connection, and now I'm bringing the content in that is applying to his life. So he's starting to see how this knowledge of the program going to help him. What about you, Renita?
I'm going to go back to the cell phone store today. I said to the guy, he said, yeah, my wife, we have a 2-year-old. We're super busy. We don't really know how to eat. We just sleep when the baby sleeps type things yet. And I said, well, you know what? I always tell people this. We've lost 63,000 pounds of fat in North Dakota. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, we were actually featured on CNN. Not just me, an amazing group of people that are down 50, 60, 130, 120 pounds. And I said, but you can be next. I said, I would love to help you and your wife just get on track with your nutrition, because wouldn't you agree? You kind of want to learn how to feed your 2-year-old right? And he's like, yeah, definitely. You bring the kids into the mix, and that pulls on the heartstrings, and people think, I do want to learn how to feed my kid right. No one's going to say, nah, I don't want to feed my kid healthy. They all want to feed their kids better than they're probably eating themselves. And that's the reality. And he's like, how can I get a hold of you? How can my wife and I get started on this thing? Of course, I give him a business card, I mean, it's literally that easy for me.
I love it. And that's the power of the grocery shopping, the phone store, me at the soccer field, the intros. Why should they listen to you? Second step is content. How is this actually going to help them? Once you got their attention, how are you going to help them? And then the third step is a call to action. What do they do? So my example is I'm at the soccer field. He's all in. He's all, okay, how do I get started? I said, it's simple. You can start this program, ZP8, you get a transform kit, and then you're going to get all the products, and the program sets you up. And there's 3 starts. There's a plan, there's products, and there's a community. That's your next step. And once you plug into it, it's so easy and simple for you actually just to implement the strategies. But there will be some challenges, and that's why you have a community to help you. So that's like, for me, that's a 60-second conversation. The whole conversation probably happened in 60 to 75 seconds. I went through the intro, content, and then a call to action. So I'm giving a whole leading on how it works, and it's just a natural process. What about you?
I want to just clarify something, Mark, because some people might think, well, I'm not Renita and I'm not Mark McDonald, but you have a story to tell. And sometimes it's as simple as, I got started in this program, and I used to not be able to walk a block because my knees hurt so bad. And now I've lost 20 pounds and I'm walking a mile a day. Some people can relate to that because they think, I feel like hell. My knees hurt. I want to feel like you and be walking a mile a day. So sometimes it doesn't need to be Mark McDonald or Renita Brandon with all these weight loss success stories. It literally is just sharing, maybe you are an overcomer of your own situation, whether it be weight loss, chronic ailments, like Leota tells people she got completely off her diabetes medication and blood pressure medication in 3 weeks. When she says that to somebody that's borderline diabetic, that is powerful. Okay. So don't think that you have to have arrived. Your story is very powerful. And especially if it shows somebody that there's a better way, they can overcome. They don't have to stay stuck. The third thing is with this guy, I basically handed him a card and I said, I have a weekly gathering. And for me, that has been top notch up here in North Dakota. I've done them consistently, literally since we started Jeunesse. It's been every single week, once a week. I have a weekly gathering, and I love that community atmosphere locally and online with the ZPA community, Mark, because there is something about hugging somebody and celebrating with them those victories that we have. But I said, why don't you and your wife come to a party sometime? Bring your 2-year-old along. I have boys. They can romp in the yard. I said, bring them up. Come on over to my party. And I said, I'll teach you guys literally how to turn your bodies into fat burning machines. There's a system. It's an 8-week system that takes you through Detox, Ignite, Thrive. And I asked them, when's the last time you detoxed your colon, liver, and kidneys? And they're like, never. I'm like, it's about time.
No one detoxed in North Dakota before they meet you.
I'm like, you know what? I said, those are the largest the filters in our body. It's time that we give them a little break. Would you agree? They're like, definitely. And I said, detox is kind of like draining the dirty bath water before we put the clean water in, baby. So we're going to detox first. You're going to get rid of all that bloat. You're going to learn how to ignite your metabolism to turn your body into a fat burning machine with your nutrition and your exercise. And you're literally going to learn this lifestyle. It's an 8-week system. It's called the Transform Zen Kit, and it will literally change your life. And I just tell people, in my experience, the average weight loss I see is 20 to 45 pounds up here in North Dakota. I have seen someone lose 66 pounds, but the average that I see, on average, if someone does an 8-week run, is about 20 to 45 pounds. And I said, are you interested in losing 20 to 45 pounds in the next 8 weeks? What does everybody say?
So, and I love what you just said on that you don't have to be Renita or me, because when I'm at the airport and I'm making a shake, people just come up to me. Why? Not because they know who I am and I'm a health expert, because number one, I'm fit, I'm living it, and I'm doing something outside the norm. And that makes people excited, because people want to feel great. So wherever you sit, you just at the soccer field, that was just a simple conversation. And I go through the 3 steps, and I'm going to share the 4th now. So does Renita. Intro, so you have to ask yourself, you got to define your intro, and you might have multiple ones.
Right.
But the intro's simple. Why should they listen to you? Why should that person who's coming up to you? Then the 2nd step is simple. Content. How are you actually going to help them? And then 3rd, call to action. Now, since I was doing a shake, it was easy to just say, there's a great program and products because I'm already having the shake. But if you're not, if you're at the airport and I have a weekly webcast you can plug into. I have a Facebook group. Here's my card. Here's a meeting I do in my community. So Renita shared some of those. So your call to action doesn't have to be buy this pack. It can be point them in a direction where there's there. And that leads us to the 4th step, where you want to close. And close to me is this, not making sure they buy something from you. It's about making sure they're going to remember you and your message. So when you close, you want to make sure they remember you. So when I ended the conversation at the soccer field, I said, David, look, if you want to take your health to the next level, we can do this. And that's what I want you to think about. You just shared how your energy isn't as great as one, how you're not achieving what you want, and you feel you can even take it to another level and become better. I have a solution for you. I want you to think about that every single time. How can you be better with your health, not just for yourself, but for your family? So your close does not have to be buy now. Your close should be leaving a message that makes them want to remember what you're sharing, because that's what ZPA is all about. It's not about recruiting a bunch of people. It's not about having people just buy products or live something. We're creating an everlasting community to end the dieting madness. So honor those 4 steps. Renita, how do you close?
It's just that, Mark. It's really like an emotional transference of energy that happens. And they always say facts tell, stories sell. Well, it's not even that stories sell, but when you make a heart connection with somebody where they really think that you're going to help them or bless them, when they really feel that, they'll want to get on board with what you have going on. If you're in the what's in it for me club and just trying to get the deal, they'll sense that. For me, I always tell people, you know what? Come to my party, leave your checkbook and your credit card at home. You're not even coming to buy. I want you to come to learn and grow and gain in your knowledge. And if you feel this is right for you after the party, we can talk to set you up on your transformed kit. But leave the wallet at home. Just come with an open heart and open mind, because you've told me that you don't want to diet anymore. You're sick of feeling lethargic. You're sick of being overweight. You're thinking about having another baby and you want to get in better shape before that happens. I think this might be the solution for you, but why don't you come yourself and give it a look? And you know what? We'll talk after the party. And I'm telling you, it's pretty much a 10 out of 10 for me. If someone comes to an event of mine, they know it, they see it, they feel it. They know that they can plug into the Zen Project community online. They know that they have the ZP8 booklets, which I showed every one of my events. They literally feel a heart connection like this. I feel like we're kind of hope brokers. We give people hope. Seriously, we give people hope that they don't have to chronically diet anymore. I just thought of something, Mark. I was in a meeting about a week ago in Minneapolis, Minnesota. There was a 350-pound lady in the room who clearly could not exercise yet. And I said to her, you know what? My friend Leota lost her first 50 pounds without any exercise because she had a walker and she was 79 years old. She goes, she did? I said, yeah, she didn't do any exercise because she honestly couldn't, but she lost 50 pounds because 75 to 80% of her metabolism is basically the nutrition we're putting in her mouth. This woman left so hopeful because she was morbidly obese. She could barely walk. And she thought to herself, she literally came up to me afterwards and she said, I've never thought I could do a program again because I've chronically dieted all my whole life. She says, but what you're telling me, I believe that I can do. And I said, I believe you can do it too. And she got started. So the bottom line is it's just that. There you go, Mark. I mean,
everything you just said on that story is what I love, the hope brokers. And I think that's the recap for everyone watching tonight and that was going to watch the replay is your action items are going to be simple. Number one, you got to redefine your relationship with the word sales and realize that what Renita just shared right there had nothing to do with sales. It had to do with sharing a message of hope with people. So Renita has her meaning. I have my meaning. You can need to define yours. Second, you want to also what you shared with passion, authenticity, and belief. See, none of this has to do with being a health expert. And none of it has to do with knowledge. It has to do with you living something, believing in something, and then leading people. I'm not a movie expert. I've never made a movie in my life. I understand videos a little bit, but I love Braveheart. I tell you, I will convince everyone in this world to watch that movie because I'm Scottish and I love that movie and I love it. Because I'm passionate, I'm authentic, and I believe in what I'm saying. And then the third thing is that once you get that, the 4 steps. So you have to then ask yourself, am I passionate? Am I authentic? Do I believe in it? Then, okay, now we start the process. What's your intro? Why should they actually listen to you? What's your content? What will you actually give them? What's your call to action to lead them to some winning place? And fourth, how do you close them so they remember you and your message, not give you a credit card or a checkbook? If you follow these 4 steps, if they want to engage, they're going to. But guess what? If they don't, Renita shared a story with me that someone that just been following her in Arizona for months upon months upon months, all of a sudden just decided to join ZP8. And that's the power. Share that story, Renita, because it wasn't that she was forcing them. It's just if they want, when they're ready, they'll reach out to you.
Yeah, the bottom line is maybe she's watching that. Her name is Mandy Hummel. She's just a gem.
Look at the camera.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. Here I am. So she's just a gem of a woman. She's been following me. She's been doing the All Strong Mom, doing the workouts. She's such a natural promoter of PFC every 3. She literally is on the pictures, flexing her muscles. She's got 4 children. She's a cosmetologist, and she's literally transformed her body with PFC every 3 and just her lifestyle, right? So I inboxed her and I said, Mandy, you're such a natural promoter of this whole system. You should be sharing it down in Nevada. I mean, you could tear it up down there. You're a living example. I see how everybody on Facebook says, what on earth are you doing? I want to start a new diet. I don't know where to begin. Looks like you've got something mastered. Tell me what you're doing. And literally she signed up, her and her husband. He's happens to be a Phi Ed teacher and a coach, and she's a cosmetologist. And he was telling me about how all the children and the kids and the athletes are taking a bunch of rotten supplements from various chain stores, and they're having heart palpitations and just nasty stuff. He said, we got to get these kid athletes off the garbage out there. And he said, we need to get them stable blood sugar, right? And so she got started within 24 hours. She signed up 2 distributors, 2 customers right out of the gates. I think she's probably put at least 3 or 4 more in since that. The bottom line is this woman is on fire, and it's not because she's out there selling. She's taking pictures of her PFC donuts, like 36 donuts. And I said, Mandy, every mom in the world is going to look at that picture of those donuts that you just made that are protein, fat, carbohydrate, and they're going to say, I want to make those donuts for my kids if they're healthy. And I said, it's not even like you're pitching. She's not sitting here saying, nah, sign this up. She's basically saying, this is my lifestyle. This is what we do. This is what my kids are eating. You guys can do it too. Let me know if you want help. I'll help you.
I love it. I love it. And that analogy, like I see Kathleen and Brian Fredis in Houston. I see the teams in Billings, Montana. I see in Iowa, all throughout the country, of people really living this and doing it. South Dakota, North Dakota, LA. It's across the country. And it's all Mary and James Nelson in Tampa, Florida. Everyone's doing it. Mark and Tracy Regan in Canada. We're all leading by example, making this. And I didn't give you a shout out. We'll make sure to give you a shout out in the future. But the most important thing is this. That's the purpose of these training sessions, why we're doing these weekly webcasts, to give you action items. So here you go. We're going to wrap it up. You have your assignments. Write down what your word of selling is and make sure you get comfortable with it. That's number 1. Number 2, you want to make sure, are you passionate, authentic, and believe in your message? If you're not, you better clean that up so you are, or it doesn't matter. And then number 3, sales cycle. There's 4 steps. Intro, why should they listen to me? Number 2, content. How are you going to help them? Number 3, call to action. What are you going to do for them? And then number 4, your close. Will they remember me and my message? These are the things you need to ask for yourself. And Renita, I love it. It's not when you're engaging someone, it's not about you, it's about them. And next week, before I'm going to give you the final say off to everyone in coaching, next week we have a great one for you. Our next one is Monday the 14th at 10 p.m. We're going to be doing how to lead a Zen meeting one-on-one or a group setting. We're going to have some special guests for that too, but that's going to be cool. We'll role play on it, and you're really going to learn how you can lead this one-on-one or group. Each week, more nuggets of information so that you can fill the little gaps in where you're missing things and you can master your communication through the entire selling process. Okay, Renita, wrap it up for us.
Wrap it up. One other thing you should do is I feel like you should carry this little booklet in your purse if you're a woman. I just feel like that because many times if I'm standing in line, I'm like, have you read this book? This is my good friend, Mark McDonald. He's literally changing the lives of people with Zen Project 8 and he's teaching them to never diet again. So I carry that around. One other thing I want to say
well, the Zen products are in there too.
I know they are.
Yeah.
I have an ear tag on the pages that they're on. Another thing is that there has to be a point of action. I think sometimes we plant seeds. It's like, imagine like driving down the interstate with a handful of seeds and you just throw them out the window and you hope they grow. Sometimes we have to nail down that call to action. So maybe you've given the content, maybe you've shared your story, maybe you brought them in and they're interested. But if you don't say, hey, do this, hey, come to my house on Wednesday night at 5:30. Should I text you my address right now? Like if you don't have that set in stone, you just lost them. You just got them fired up and now you may or may not ever see them again. I think call to action and nailing it down with certainty is a really huge thing that a lot of people forget about because maybe they don't have a meeting on the calendar or they don't have a one-on-one or they don't have something like the webinar to point to, Mark. So be very specific about that because when you get people excited, they want to know what to do next. And I said this on a webinar today, as leaders, we have to be able to tell them what to do next. So you get very concrete with that. The final thing I want to say is every time that I have a party, I always make sure that I have somebody that's lost weight, whether it's Leota or somebody. Sometimes it's 5 or 6 people that have lost weight because every time they get up and share their story, it's literally like it is a groove in their brain. And every time they share their story, do you know that their own belief goes up? They think that they're there blessing everybody, which they are, but you know that it blesses themselves because every time you share your story about PFC or Zen or weight loss, it literally lays down a deeper belief groove in a groove thing. Shake your groove thing. It lays down a groove in your brain and your belief and your conviction goes up. So bring those people in that are the biggest losers or maybe one that is not even a biggest loser. Maybe they detoxed and they lost 3 pounds, you know, and let them celebrate that success because when they say it, their belief goes up. And the final thing I want to say is Mark said his favorite movie. I want you all to watch my favorite movie. I have 2 of them, Cinderella Man and The Finest Hour. Those are 2.
Oh, well, I got another one. We're giving 2. My other one is Peaceful Warrior. If you've never watched that movie, it is one of the greatest mind movies ever made. Okay, good. So those are your 4 movies you can watch. Cinderella Man's a really good one. True story.
What was your finest hour?
Okay, so are we good, Renita? We're good with the training? So look, everyone watching, ask all questions on the live feed and make sure that we'll answer them on the YouTube channel. This will be added to the playlist. And this is what you're going to be experiencing every single week. New training models that set you up to win. Okay? Community, love our ZPA community. Super excited about what's coming. And if you're part of Europe or Canada, we got some special things coming. In Europe, I'm going to be in Berlin next week. I'm going to the convention. And we're launching some new strategies for Zen. And until Zen Fusion Prime are in Canada, we're working on some winning strategies for all the Canadians out there. Okay, let's rock it. Mwah.
Go share your story.
Okay, see you next week. Bye.